In the hallowed halls of a great university, a mystery bloomed. A nearly impossible math problem scrawled across a blackboard had been solved overnight. The answer was elegant, perfect, and anonymous. Professors gaped, egos bruised. Whispers filled the corridors. Who could have done this? Security footage was useless. Students and staff were baffled. The problem had been a challenge, a joke, until someone solved it. The university, built on names and reputations, was shaken by a nameless intellect. The answer on the board was a silent reminder. Knowledge belongs to no one. The search for the ghost became an obsession. But the ghost was no phantom. He was Harold, the janitor. Every day, he pushed a broom, emptied trash, and mopped floors. While the greatest minds searched for their genius, Harold quietly wiped down the very blackboard that held his secret. He was the unseen hand, the quiet presence in the background of their lives. Harold's life was simple, almost invisible. By day, he was just part of the scenery, ignored by students, barely noticed by professors. But Harold found peace in his invisibility. It let him observe, listen, and learn. At night, when the university emptied, Harold's real world began. He'd sit in empty classrooms, poring over battered math textbooks, tracing equations with his finger. His love for numbers was a secret, a gift from his mother, a teacher who taught him to see magic in patterns. Life forced him to work, not study, but he never lost the spark she gave him. Studying math was his way of keeping her memory alive. He asked for no recognition, no applause. The joy was in the process, the quiet click of understanding. His life was lived in the shadows, but his mind was brilliantly lit. On a Friday, Professor Albright ended his lecture with a flourish, writing a famously unsolved problem on the board. "A little something to chew on," he said, knowing it was more a statement than a challenge. Students snapped photos, awed and intimidated. When the room emptied, the problem remained, a silent dare. That night, Harold entered to clean. He paused, broom in hand, drawn to the equation's beauty and complexity. He studied it, seeing the traps and tricks hidden within. After cleaning, he couldn't resist. On a small corner, he began to scribble, testing theories. Numbers flowed from his mind to his hand. Suddenly, he saw the path through the labyrinth. It was clear, simple, beautiful. Harold had solved the unsolvable. The next morning, a teaching assistant found the solution. Step by step, precise and brilliant. The handwriting was unfamiliar, the method unconventional. Professors gathered, stunned by the mastery. The campus buzzed with speculation. Who was the chalkboard ghost? The faculty set a trap. An even harder problem, a note inviting the solver to reveal themselves, and a hidden camera. For days, nothing happened. Harold saw the new problem and the note. He felt anxious. He never wanted attention. For 2 nights, he resisted. But the problem called to him. On the 3rd night, he gave in. Just one more. For my mother. He picked up the chalk and began to write, unaware of the camera watching. The ghost was about to be unmasked. The university held its breath. The professors watched the footage in disbelief. The janitor they'd overlooked was the genius they'd been searching for. Professor Albright approached Harold, not as a superior, but as an equal. "It was you?" he asked. Harold nodded, embarrassed. News spread. Harold became an overnight sensation. The university offered him scholarships, research positions, fame, but Harold declined it all. In a quiet classroom, he explained, "I'm not a genius, I just love numbers. It's how I feel close to my mother." He didn't want the spotlight, just his quiet nights with math. Students and professors saw him differently now. They greeted him, asked for help, left puzzles for him on the board. Harold remained Harold, still mopping floors, but no longer invisible. He hadn't changed his life, but he'd changed theirs. He taught them a lesson no textbook ever could. Harold's story became a quiet legend, a reminder that unseen brilliance is everywhere. We label people by their jobs and forget to look for the person inside. Harold taught the university that genius isn't about titles or degrees, it's about passion. For him, it was the truth of mathematics. For others, it might be a garden, a story, a craft. These passions are where our true selves reside. To judge by occupation is to miss the masterpiece within. Harold's greatest lesson wasn't his solution, but his humility. He chose peace and purpose over fame. His gift was private joy, a tribute to his mother. Some things, love, passion, memory, are sacred. Genius and goodness are hidden all around us, waiting to be seen. Harold solved the problem on the board, and a bigger one in their hearts.
What's something people don't know about stories? They never truly end. There's always a new adventure waiting for you. Just pick your next tale and I'll meet you there. Subscribe to the Story Circle and let me know which story I should tell next in the comments.